guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Again, this is Jisrael Raz, your tax instructor, and in this video, I will show you how to prepare BIR Form 1603 or the quarterly remittance for withholding taxes on Fringe benefits. So, in the other videos that we have discussed already what is Fringe benefits and de minimis benefits and how Fringe benefit tax is computed. Also, in the other videos we have classified who is a manager and who is supervisor or rank and file, and who among these three people, the manager, the supervisor, or the rank and file, are subject to Fringe benefit tax. So if you haven't watched those videos, I really suggest you watch those videos so that you will have an idea on how to compute and how to prepare BIR Form 1603. Okay, so if you're ready, let's start. So before we start our discussion on how to prepare BIR Form 1603, I really recommend that you must have first a working paper or an Excel file on the computation of your Fringe benefits. A working paper would facilitate you on your preparation for BIR Form 1603. And in this video, we will prepare BIR Form 1603 using the EBIR Forms. As you can see on your screen, we have here the EBIR Forms. Okay, so I have here already a working paper for my Fringe benefit taxes to different employees that we have. Okay, so in this video, we assume that we are the employer company and we gave Fringe benefits to some of our employees. Okay, so these employees are Juan de la Cruz, we have Maria Clara, we have Peter Smith, and John Joseph Pelaez. So we have 4 employees here who received Fringe benefits from our company. Again, these figures, this information are all fictitious. Okay, and for academic purposes only. Okay, so in preparing working paper, we have here the column for employee, classification, position. Actually, you can have your own working paper design and template if you want convenient. But for me, this is convenient on my part, and yeah. So this would help me prepare my BIR Form 1603. So we have here Juan de la Cruz, Maria Clara, Peter Smith, and John Joseph Pelaez. So there are 4 of them, and some of their names are in repetition because they receive more than 1 Fringe benefits. For example, Juan de la Cruz received 2 Fringe benefits. Also, in my working paper, I have here the classification, their classification. So this would help me determine what Fringe benefit tax is applicable to this employee. So we have here resident citizen, Peter Smith is a resident alien, and John Joseph Pelaez is a non-resident alien not engaged in trade or business. For their position, we have here Juan de la Cruz as our sales and marketing manager. For Maria Clara, she's our director of HR department, and Peter Smith is our research development supervisor. And we have here also John Joseph Pelaez, a consultant from a parent company, from our parent company, which is an international company. So in this discussion, we assume that we, as the company, is a subsidiary of another company which is bigger than us, our parent company, from the outside of the Philippines, and the parent company is sending us John Joseph Pelaez as a consultant. So that's why we classify him as a non-resident alien not engaged in trade or business. Okay, so the benefits received of Juan de la Cruz is car, wherein the full ownership was granted to him, meaning to say the entire car was registered for the name of Juan de la Cruz. Also, aside from the car, Juan de la Cruz also received a free monthly house rent, which is equivalent to 12,000 per month. So meaning to say, he is living in a house wherein he is freed from paying the rent. Okay, and the company shouldered the rent, the 12,000. We also have here vehicle for Maria Clara, wherein the use only was granted to her. So meaning to say, this vehicle was registered under the company's name and then was given to Maria Clara on the condition that she would return this vehicle after or when she resigned or separate from the company or when she retired. Okay, so still, the ownership of that vehicle belongs to the company, to us, while the use of that vehicle belongs to Maria Clara. We also have here Peter Smith receiving a condominium unit, a MacBook Pro, and a housemaid salary. So, since Peter Smith is an alien, a foreigner, he would not be allowed to acquire real properties in the Philippines. That's why we gave him a condominium unit for use only. Okay, and a MacBook Pro. And of course, Peter Smith, we want him to live a comfortable life. So we gave him a housemaid for, personal chores of Peter Smith to clean his house, whatever. And then we are paying this housemaid for 10,000 a month. Okay, and also John Joseph Pelaez from the parent company, from our parent company outside, we gave him MacBook Pro during the year. So, for Juan de la Cruz, we gave the car during the month of July, and then also for the months of July, August, and September, we gave him the 3 months monthly house rent for free. And then for vehicle, we have August. We gave them August to Maria, and then condominium units, we gave this unit to Peter Smith, and then MacBook Pro in September, and then housemaid salary for the months of July, August, and September, and the MacBook Pro for John Joseph, we gave him last August. Okay, so these are just assumptions. Okay, we're also given here the amount of the benefits given to them. So, Juan de la Cruz, the amount of car was 800,000, and so on. So, our first question in this case is, are they subject to Fringe Benefit Tax? Okay, so we will answer that by going back to the position column. Are they subject to withholding tax or Fringe Benefit Tax? We can only answer that if the employee is a manager or holding managerial positions, or he is a supervisor holding supervisory positions. So, Juan de la Cruz is definitely a manager. So, therefore, this is a yes. And, of course, this is a yes because it's still Juan de la Cruz. While Maria Clara is the director of HR department. Therefore, since she is a director, she is also considered as part of as holding managerial position. Therefore, it's a yes. And also, Peter Smith is a research development supervisor. Therefore, yes, he would be subject to Fringe Benefit Tax. This is yes, and this is yes. So the next question would be John Joseph Pelaez. Is he a manager or supervisor? So take note that John Joseph came from the parent company and for a consultancy service. And he is an employee of the company, okay, of our parent company. So is John Joseph Pelaez our employee? No, because he is an employee of a parent company. Okay, so he's not an employee. Therefore, this is not subject to Fringe Benefit Tax. Okay, because if you're going to subject this or John Joseph Pelaez to Fringe Benefit Tax, first question, he is not an employee of our company. He may be an employee of the parent company, but not our company. Okay, we are a subsidiary company and we are treated as one distinct, separate company. Okay, so that's why it's no. So the next question would be, how much is the monetary value? So let's go back to the benefits and the month given. So the amount is 800,000 and the full ownership of the car was granted to Juan de la Cruz. Therefore, the monetary value would be equal to 800,000. Okay, and this one, the monthly house rent, since this is a rent, a free housing. Okay, so there are two owners. The company is paying the house for the use of its employee, a managerial employee. Therefore, there are two owners. The supposedly owner, the company paying the rent, and the actual taxpayer or person using the property, and that is the manager. So therefore, we will divide this 36,000 by 2. Okay, there are two owners. So why 36,000? That is good for 3 months. July, August, and September. That's 36,000. 12,000 times 3, and then divided by 2 because there are two owners. Always remember, if it's a rent, divide that by 2. Then we have here a vehicle where the use only was granted to the employee. Therefore, we will divide this 1.2 by, yes, that's 5 years. If you are confused, why should we divide by 5 years? Please watch the other video because we have discussed in the first video that personal properties are going to be divided by 5 years, okay, and divided by 2, especially if the usufruct only of that property is being granted to the employee. So again, 1.2 divided by 5 divided by 2. Okay, so it's a personal property, and then only the use of that property was granted to the taxpayer, to the employee. Therefore, divide that by 5 and divide that again by 2. Hence, this one. Okay? In contrast, the 800 here, we don't have to divide that by 5 and 2 because the entire ownership of the car was given to the employee. And we also have here condominium unit for use only. Therefore, since it's for use or usufruct, we will divide this amount by 20 years. Why 20 years? Because again, real properties are going to be depreciated over 20 years according to our local government code, and then we will divide that by 20. And if you are confused still, please watch the other video so you will be convinced, you will know that we should divide this by 20. And since it's for the use only, therefore divide by 2. Like what we did in the vehicle in the above property. Next, we also have MacBook Pro, wherein I'm guessing the entire MacBook Pro is given to the employee. Therefore, we will just copy this one, the 170,000, and also the housemaid salary. So again, this is for 3 months. Okay, so that's 120,000. No, this should be 30. No, so this is 30,000. Okay, wait. So this is 30,000. That's 10,000 per month given during the months of July, August, and September. So we will copy this 30,000 as our monetary value. And then this one, again, it's 0 because this is not subject to Fringe Benefit Tax. Next, the grossed up monetary value. If you can still recall, how do we compute a GMV? So that is monetary value divided by 100% minus the tax rate. So we have here the monetary value divided by, okay, 100% minus, since he's a resident citizen, here, he's a resident citizen, therefore, minus 35%. And we would get 1,230,769 pesos, 0.23 centavos. So we will just bring this down. So what we have here, the total gross up monetary value of 1,966,853 pesos, 0.85. So again, these people, the resident citizen, resident alien, are all subject to 35% Fringe Benefit Tax. So next is to multiply the GMV by 35%, or okay, so, and we will bring this down. So the total Fringe Benefit Tax here is 688,153.85 centavos. So actually, if you're going to add the 88, this one, the 688, and this one, the monetary value, you would get the GMV. So monetary value plus the French benefit, you would get the grossed up monetary value. So now that we have already computed, we have now a working paper, a complete working paper on the French benefit tax withheld. Now let's go to the filing of BIR Form 1603. So here, I will enter the TIN. So again, you must have an actual TIN before you can do this. Okay, and it's 103. Okay, it's baliktad. So 923 182. Okay, here. So it's automatically filled since we have filled this up in our previous video discussions in withholding taxes for compensation incomes and of course creditable withholding taxes. So the next step is to select from the list here what forms we're going to use. So in this case, we will use the BIR Form 1603 QV version 2018. This is the updated one. If you are using EBIR Forms, don't use this. Why? Because that was the old return used before the train law. Okay, so next you have to fill this up. Okay, there, and click OK. So we have here the return, the BIR Form 1603Q. So brief background of this return. This return is quarterly, meaning to say you will file this only 4 times in 1 year. So for the months of January, February, and in March, you will file that on the month of April 25, the exact date. So if you have any French benefit taxes, French benefit given to your employees, and then you are withholding French benefit tax as an employer, then you should file this return on the 25th day of April. Whereas for the months of April, May, and June, for the second quarter, you will file that on July 25. Okay, so 25 days after the end of the quarter. We also have for the third quarter, we have July, August, and September. You will file that on October 25. And for the months of October, November, and December, you will file that on January 25. It's always 25th day after the end of the quarter. Okay, so you will be required to file this return number 1 if you are a company giving or granting French benefits, and second condition, you have French benefit taxes withheld. Okay, so if you fail to file and pay the French benefit taxes that you withheld, you cannot deduct the corresponding expense on your income tax return. So if you are the employer, you should always be careful and be mindful that you should file and pay and remit the tax, the French benefit tax, to the BIR, so that when you file your personal income tax return, you can claim that French benefit as expense. Otherwise, if you fail to file this return on quarterly basis, you cannot deduct the entire amount as expense on your income tax return. Okay, so I am filing for the year 2020, and since it's July, August, and September, that's third quarter, so I will click third quarter, and then this is not an amended return, so I will click no. Any taxes withheld? Item 4, I will say yes, because I have taxes to be remitted. Okay, so I have 688,000 to be paid. So next, I will just leave them here 0. After that, I'd go to item 11, category withholding agent. Again, we are assuming that we are a private company, so I will click private. Okay, are there any payees availing tax relief? So I will say no. Okay, so here we are done with the first part. Now let's go to the second part, the computation of the tax. So I will just click this one, okay, item 14, as you see in your screen. So I will click this highlighted and underlined portion. It says from part 4, schedule 1. So I will click that. So it's the instruction here. So if you are viewing it manually, then you can view this actually, but we only need this part. So there are only 2 tax rates here. Okay, 35% and 25%. In our case, we only have 35%. We don't have non-resident alien that engage in trade or business. So here it says in item 1, in general for citizen, resident alien, and non-resident alien engage in trade or business. So this must be the 35%. Okay, this one. The WF360, while number 2, it says non-resident alien not engaged in trade or business. So I will enter here the monetary value of the Fringe benefit. I'll go back to our working paper. Our total monetary value is 1,278,000. Okay, so we have 1,278,000. Then it automatically compute the tax. So we have here, if you can see your screen, the 1,966,153.85 and the tax rate, and of course the Fringe benefit tax. That's it. Okay, so let's check if we have the same amount. So it must be 688. Yes, it's 688. So we are doing the correct computation. Then after that, we will go back to the first page. So you just click this this item rather. So this must be the amount that would be presented on the first page. So let's click this one. And here we are back on the first page. So as you can see, we have already here the corresponding figure, and then we have it. That's it. That's how you file, that's how you prepare 1603. There is no interest because we are not filing late. There is no surcharge, of course, and here you can put your name if you are the taxpayer, if you are the company withholding the tax, or if you are a corporation, then you can put your registered name here. Okay, so I will not just put anything here because I cannot enter, but I can do it. I can write my names here manually. Okay, so next step is to save this. Okay, just save that. Then after that, you're going to validate. Now, after we validated, we can now print this one so we can submit personally to the BIR. So just print that one. It will link you here, or you can also submit this one to the BIR to the BIR's email. Okay, so I will not submit here because this is fictitious. Okay, so I will just print this one. Okay, then you print, or you can cancel this. However, you cannot save this on PDF form. Okay, so that's it. That's how you file BIR Form 1603 using the EBIR Forms. So I hope you learned a lot from the discussion, and I hope you'd watch the other videos as well.